So today was rough.
Yeah. See, I'm not good at banter because it's unscripted. Gotta get a conversation going.
This is what you talk about. This is perfect banter. This is like the perfect banter for a married couple doing a podcast together.
Well, what happened today? I took a nap. Thank you for letting me take a nap.
You're welcome. That was really, really rough.
Mm-hmm.
Bernadette kept on getting in my way. Like, she kept on stepping through my legs. While I was putting out the third row in the garden. And then Benedict just literally stared at a centipede and spider in the wheelbarrow with the wood chips, and he just stared at it. And I was like, just don't touch it. And he goes, okay. And he just continued to stare at it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Observation.
Yeah,
that's good.
So, but I don't know what happened. They just kind of turned into nightmare children at the end of the day, it seemed.
It's the potty training. It has us all really tired. Because as soon as she's... Well, I mean, like, sometimes he wakes up to go potty at, like, 5:15. And then they're awake. Like, they go back to bed, but they're not getting back to, like, a deep sleep. So we're all just really tired. That's what it is.
Yeah. It doesn't help that I just got off of a 50-hour work week, too, so I'm still kind of recovering from that. I slept most of yesterday. Yeah,
you usually take Mondays, like, not... Because Sundays I keep you going, too. Just because... we like to do our Sunday brunch. Mm-hmm. And there's Mass, and then that's kind of my time to take a break sometimes. But yeah, you usually take Monday, sometimes Tuesday to recover, too. Yeah.
And that doesn't help, but then I just kind of have to go right back to work on Wednesday, Thursday, and then I'm recovering from Friday and Saturday. I've stated this before on the podcast, and it's just, I don't feel like I have my feet under me.
Yeah. It'll take time. Yeah. It's a season.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Hopefully it's over soon.
I don't know if the mic picked that up.
Well, if it did, it did it. If it did, it did. If it didn't, it didn't. So, but yeah. No, I'm tired. Today was, the kids were, I mean, not a handful, but yeah, it was a lot. So, not a lot, but so thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. I was about to say welcome to my world for the 3 hours that you let me sleep. Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, welcome everyone to Those Catholic Gamers, a podcast where Catholic guys and now girls or gals come together to talk about video games and their Catholic faith. I am James, your host, and today I am joined by my wife, Catherine. Say hello, Catherine.
Well, hello. I remember you saying you're going to introduce me a very specific way. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes. So a little details about Catherine. Catherine is a longtime not listener of the podcast.
I'm a horrible podcast listener in general. Yes. I tried when you first started, but it's just not. I do these 2 video games, and that's about it.
Yeah, understandable. So, and one of those video games we are discussing and reviewing today. That video game being Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley, as it states in its own wiki, is an open-ended country life RPG. It was originally created by one person, Eric Barron, who are known by his handle Concerned Ape. He released the full game out of beta on February 26, 2016, and since then has continued to add features, stories, and gameplay. You have inherited your grandfather's old farm plot in Stardew Valley. After becoming disillusioned by your corporate job with Jojo Corp, you head off to claim your inheritance. After arriving in Stardew Valley, you are met with some troubling realities. Your plot of land is overrun with debris, the old farmhouse is run down, and it turns out that Georgia Corp has moved in, and ever since then, the old ways of life in the valley have disappeared. Because of this, the community center, once the town's most vibrant hub of activity, lies in shambles. Armed with hand-me-down tools and a few coins, it is up to you to help the residents of Stardew Valley to return their small community to greatness. Just a disclaimer, we only play on PC. I originally started playing this game on Windows. Catherine, if I remember correctly, you've only really played this game while we've had this on Linux, if I remember correctly.
I think there was some time on Windows.
Okay.
Yeah, the experience is like there's no difference between Windows and Linux for me. But neither of us have tried the mobile version.
Yeah, that's correct. So neither of us have tried the mobile version. This is also, I believe, now on like consoles as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's huge. There's actually a multiplayer version of the game where hopefully when we can get you a computer, like a laptop, we can get your own copy and then we can play together and we can get married in the game.
As if we're not already married enough.
Yes.
But you know the fun thing in the game, there's no. This is so funny. There's no daycare.
Yeah.
So to explain. So your character within the game is able to do a couple of different things. There's combat in the mines. You can go mining, you can go farming, fishing, and what's the last one?
Forestry?
Foraging. Yep. But you can also get to know the different members in the community and grow your relationship with them to the point that you can actually like have romantic relationships with them. And we'll talk about that later in the podcast. But you can get married and then have kids. And the funny thing is that your spouse might just go into work and you stay on the farm and nobody feeds the baby.
Let's be honest, nobody feeds anything. Like, you don't even, like, I mean, technically you feed your animals. But yeah, the kids just kind of roam around the house.
Yeah, and you don't have to eat. Like, no. It helps when you run out of energy, but at the start of every day, it just automatically recharges your energy, so you don't have to eat. So, of course, I mean, all games have a certain point of non-reality.
Okay. So, all right, before we really dive into the discussion here, we are trying to grow our audience, so please follow, leave a review, let your friends and family know about this podcast exists. Like I said, we're just trying to grow, and we need your help to do that. You can always reach out to us at catholicgamerspod@gmail.com. Connor, who is also a co-host of this podcast, he streams games on Tuesdays from about 7:30 p.m. Central Time to about 9 p.m. Central Time on Twitch. You can find his channel at twitch.tv/fatalcondor. And then you can always reach out to me and read what I have to write and think and say about things on my Substack at amailmillennial.substack.com. But anyway, like I said, just go ahead and follow the podcast. Let other people know that this podcast exists. It's a fun kind of rambly podcast where we just kind of discuss, review video games from a Catholic point of view, and then kind of dive into Catholic things from a technology point of view kind of sense. So anyway, so Catherine, we always usually try to dive into kind of a history of our interaction with the game. How did you come to know about Stardew Valley? And I'm just going to hand you the microphone now.
Sounds great. Can I actually talk about my history of gaming in general first?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Yeah, and sorry also listeners if the audio sounds a little bit different today. We are in a different setting than usual, so it's fun. We're sharing one mic.
Yes. I don't have Connor on a Discord where I just have a chat bot recording our voices. It's literally two people, one mic, handing it back and forth, or just sticking it in each other's face, as Catherine is doing to me right now.
So anyway, away from the technical details. Yeah, I don't do much video gaming. And in fact, let's see, growing up, we had a Nintendo, one of those old Nintendos. I don't even know what version. It had like cassettes you had to put on the top.
probably a NES or a SNES. So it's the Nintendo Entertainment System, or the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
I think it might have been the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
I remember the cassettes. It was all hand me down, and we would have to like blow into them if they got too dusty.
Yep, that's
plug
classic.
them in, and then the controllers had wires. So yeah, we grew up with like some version of Super Mario Brothers, Donkey Kong 1 and 2, and a couple other games like that. There was some computer games like your spaceship pinball and solitaire.
Oh, like Space Cadet pinball.
Yeah, that one.
I actually, so you can't get that on Windows anymore, but you can on Linux. And I have it on our computer.
So. I was gonna say we've played it. Yeah. I've played it. Yeah. Well, thank you, hon.
You're welcome.
So yeah, some basic computer games like that just kind of come with a computer. But James really introduced me to Steam when we got married, and so that was I had played PS4 before. Mm-hmm. I lived with my brother for a couple of months, in his family, and he had a PS4, and I played Lego Harry Potter, I think. That was it. So yeah,
you've played that here too. Yeah, because I bought those copies for you because you'd requested them. And so, yeah, you've played more than just 2 games on Steam.
No, yeah. With my brother on his PS4, I just played the Harry Potter. But yeah, on Steam, I have played the other Lego, I think some Lord of the Rings or Hobbit, and then Harry Potter. And that's been it. Between that, Stardew Valley, and Sid Meier's Civ 5.
Yeah.
Which, did you know, so the creator of Stardew Valley, Eric, Concerned Ape, he actually, when he was creating it, there was some times where he was supposed to be working and he would get distracted by Civ 5.
I'm not surprised. That happens to most of us who play Civ 5.
Yeah. But, yeah, so more like world building games. One of the things that I like in a game is to relax. And so I don't like a game that gets my adrenaline pumping. For me, that's just, like, I don't want my nerves, they're already wired up at the end of a long day with the kids. So I definitely don't need that more in a game. So I do like Stardew Valley for the strategy of it. Yeah, so I've been playing for, like 3 years?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
No, it was while we were in Bismarck. I think it's only been a little over 1 year. Anyway, that's my history of gaming.
Yeah. But yeah, there you go. Okay, so let's see here. My history, at least with Stardew Valley, is what was it? I remember getting onto Steam. I think it was like March of 2016. It was like either late April or March of 2016. And on the Steam page, it was like a featured like new game in Stardew Valley. Oh. So if I remember correctly, I bought this game like very quickly right when it came out. And I distinctly remember playing way too much of this game. Like, I think I poured like 40 hours into the first week or 2 weeks after buying this game. And what was it? Thank you to Catherine. This is now one of the most played games on my Steam account. But anyway, so yeah, that's yeah. I think what really got me sucked into this game was I've always kind of had a desire to kind of live off the land, have some acreage ever since I was like 16, 17 years old, maybe even a little bit younger. I remember reading My Side of the Mountain growing up, and I was just enthralled with the idea of like living in a tree and living out of the wilderness and just kind of, living off the land. And I distinctly remember like discussing with some friends where I was just like, I just want to say, like, I'm done with society. That's not the words I used, but I'm trying to keep this kind of clean. I'm done with society. I'm just going to go live in the woods and live in a house that I built by myself. And one of my friends, I believe it was Gus. It was my friend Gus. Or it could have been my friend Greg, Brian's older brother. who basically said, James, you do understand that's basically social suicide, right? You're cutting yourself off, and you cannot do that. And I was like, oh. So for me, this game kind of like plays into that fact of like, you are away from a town, but you still are able to go into the town and interact with people. But you really do have like your own land, and you have your own farm, and you have your own animals, and you're taking care of them, and you're building a profit. It was just something that's been very attractive to me. And I mean, for you as well, I would say.
I think it would be a bit of a different. I mean,
like you grew up on an acreage, and we've kind of shared a mutual desire of, having our own land, and kind of living off the land, and
yeah. No, I grew up with my parents have several acres, but we probably had about a full acreage of vegetable gardens. So part of me is like, living a city life and being able to tap into that farming life a little bit, but it's not so much of the distance socialization that you were talking about that I enjoy. It's more of the time management, the strategy, the building things, setting small goals and accomplishing it. And that's one of the cool things I like about Stardew Valley. Like, it has motives for you to go through, like tasks or quests, but you can really set it at your own pace, or just go off on your own tangent, like do your own project and not even worry about whatever the game is, prompting you to do. Like, you can do your own thing, and I like that creativity.
All right, perfect. So before we dive into the gameplay and the story and all of that, just as always, spoiler alert, there are some relatively, I wouldn't say large spoilers, because this game is so just focused on, you kind of doing your own thing. But there is a story, and there is certain tangible goals that can be completed. So if you want to go into this game completely blind, I would say stop right here, go out and play it, and then come back and let us know how much you enjoy this game, because this game is fantastic. But anyway, and we kind of dived into that right now, right? There are different aspects of this game. There's quite a few, actually. There's the farming, there's the animal husbandry, there's fishing, there's mining, there's combat. I am awful at the combat in this game. There is foragery, there's forestry, or foraging, forestry. There's relationship building with the other people in Stardew Valley. There's collecting. There's the restoring of the community center, and then once you've completed that, depending on how you did that, there's also the Ginger Island expansion that recently came out about a couple of years ago. That's relatively new. Lots of things to do in this game. So I would say, Catherine, what is your favorite to do in the game?
My favorite, I was actually just thinking about this, that I thought that once you kind of hit the second year, because it's set up to have different seasons. You start in the spring, and you have about 2 years is about it, as much as you'll explore in terms of like relationship with the community. Like, there's nothing new after that. It's the same festivals every year. It's the same crops every year that are sold at the Pierres to buy for seeds. And once I finished the community center, I was I felt like it was getting boring, and I made it to Ginger Island, but I just wasn't all about that. I don't know. But one of the things that we enjoy about Stardew Valley is that we can play it with our kids. Not with our kids, but around our kids. Because it's appropriate. There's like a ghost in the mine that makes a weird noise when you finish attacking it. And yeah, and that creeped out Benedict for a little bit. But that was about the creepiest that, like... And it was easy enough, like, if I'm playing with Benedict, I just don't go into the mine at that level. Where was I going with this?
Have you found Corvus?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does he scare Benedict?
No.
He can have some kind of weird faces.
No.
Okay.
No, that creature doesn't scare him at all. So I was playing with our son, and he wanted me to keep going back to Ginger Island. But in order to do so, at one point I lost a lot of money, and a lot of my stuff because I died, which it just resets you back to your home, and you get those things are taken away. But it's a lot more on Ginger Island than in the normal valley.
Oh. Well, I mean, canonically in the game that would make sense because the to be rescued they have to like take a boat out and get you and bring you back instead of just going into a mine. And then the recovery service, like you can go to the adventure hut and then pay to get one of your things back. That would also be more expensive because Ginger Island is, a hop, skip, and a jump from Stardew Valley. So
yeah. So, but anyway, it made me realize like if I want to continue doing Ginger Island, there's a lot of things I have to prepare for in order to. So it's kind of like an adventure where you don't just have to go on the adventure. Like I have to prepare for it, which includes like I decided to like really cut down my morning chores on the farm. Took me until noon or 2 p.m. And so it's like that wasn't enough time to get to the Ginger Island and actually do stuff on the island. So I was like, I need to cut back on the farming somewhere. And I was like fiscally stable enough. It's not like I needed money to do new projects. And I had to decide like, okay, what crops am I going to do? Or am I going to focus on the animals versus that? And then there's different things that you can eat in the game that increase your ability to like attack monsters or your defense. And so it's like, okay, I want to build up on those crops so that way I can go to Ginger Island and be like as amped up as possible. So it's kind of, I guess one of the things I like about Stardew Valley is that you get to apply your own strategy, your own goals. Even one point I like had a notepad and I was like plotting out my garden plot and figuring out like the days that each seeds would take to germinate and grow to harvest, and I enjoy that aspect.
That in the gaming lingo is called mid-maxing.
Oh, okay.
So Catherine, you were what we would call a mid-maxer, so yes.
Is there a stereotype that comes with that, or certain I don't know.
No, it does fit your personality. You're very analytically minded. You're wanting to sit down and just kind of figure out, okay, what's the plan? What's the best way to get to the end, fastest, most efficient way possible? So no, that kind of fills out well. So
can I share one more thing?
Sure.
The other thing that I enjoy about Stardew Valley, and this kind of goes back to playing Civ 5. The just one more turn.
Just one more day.
It's so hard in Civ 5 to really manage your time, like actually like real time. Whereas like I can easily sit down and be like, okay, I'm just gonna do 3 days, right? Because Stardew Valley, your farmer wakes up at 6 a.m. and you have to be back home in your house by 2 a.m. To go to sleep and have the game saved.
Don't you have to be in bed before 2 a.m.? Or do you suffer? Because you will suffer energy if you don't go to sleep before that time, right?
I think with the newest update, the 1.6 update, some things have changed. Like you can actually be in a barn. You can put a bed in a barn and actually go to sleep in a barn, and you weren't able to do that beforehand. I think I've collapsed in the house and I still get full energy.
Oh. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, so they have updated that with some of their, like where you collapse at 2 a.m. if it's on your farm versus in your house versus in your bed, and what punishment you get, right? How much money you get docked, or if things are stolen.
What negative consequence will happen, which is usually like a financial thing, which actually is important in the game, right? Because you need money to buy seeds, I mean, this kind of dives into more of the gameplay and also the story, right? Like you show up on your grandfather's farm, which is now yours. You're greeted by the mayor and Robin.
By the way, who's been paying the taxes on the land while you've been at the court?
Yeah, no, there are a lot of interesting little holes that we don't think of. So this brings up one of my biggest qualms with the game. So when I first started playing it, I was like enthralled with Robin, which is funny because you kind of reminded me of Robin because you're very like just like go getter. You'll go build things. You're very outdoorsy. And then you find out that she's married and you can't romance her, and you're like, I spent so much time in this game romancing and it amounts to nothing. And so I always end up with the teacher.
I remember when I first started, this is a spoiler alert, in order to figure out who was married to who, I would go into the map and see who was living with who. And that is how I could figure out who was potentially married to who.
Yeah, you have that luxury. That did not exist in the original game.
Ah.
Yeah. So, yeah. No, you can definitely, you can kind of like see who lives where and things like that nowadays.
Yeah. So my second thing that I love about Stardew Valley, to conclude that little bit, is the ability to manage my actual real time. Like I can say I can sit down to 3 days and then be done. And if in the middle of a day I have to just quit and I lose a little bit, it doesn't feel like a big deal because it's easy enough to redo.
Yeah, you can just, yeah, this is also kind of a qualm, right? Is you can't save in day in the game, right? You have to start the day. So the game saves. Essentially, it's not permadeath. It's almost like Iron Man mode. It's like a permanent Iron Man mode where whatever you do has consequences. You really only have one save file for that game. And then from there, you kind of have to play off of that. So some people will kind of save scum, where it's like if they don't get exactly what they want, they'll just exit the game to main menu, go back in, and restart the day. I think the game actually does have a couple of interior matrices or algorithms that try to play or like doesn't allow for that to happen directly. So at least nowadays it does. So, but anyway, but yeah, so no, you start off, you coming into this place, everything is overgrown, your house is kind of dilapidated.
Also just small.
Yes, it's very small. It would be the equivalent of like a 10 by 12 room almost.
Yeah, essentially what who's that author that I hate that you love? He goes out into the wild and builds a house. Walden Pond.
Oh, it's not Henry David Thoreau. It's
Isn't it Thoreau?
Is it Thoreau? I don't think it's Thoreau.
I think it's Thoreau.
All right, here comes the applicable Wikipedia every single time we record. Yeah, no, Henry David Thoreau.
Yeah.
Hey, ha!
You were right.
I shouldn't have second guessed myself.
No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But that size house.
Yeah, no, tiny little thing. And then, of course, you have certain quests that kind of like help you guide yourself through the game, right? So you want to go out and meet everybody in the community. You want to start planting parsnips and all that other jazz. And then it will slowly kind of introduce you into different areas of the game.
Question for you then. So since my experience I've only been through like one update, which they did recently, but what is have you enjoyed the experience of seeing the game grow and build, or do you kind of like begrudge that?
I would say, yeah. It depends on how it's implemented. Some games where it's like you had a really good game or, gameplay or gameplay loop and they took that away or something like that, that can be frustrating. What's been really nice is Concerned Ape has either always been adding or updating So I don't remember distinctly all of the little quirks of the game in comparison to now. The game is much more playable, has much more in depth, just in everything, like like dialogue from other people and different activities and things of that nature, including like the night festival.
Oh yeah.
That was not a thing.
Oh.
Yeah, winter was very barren. I remember making it my first game. I made it all the way to winter, and then I stopped.
Oh.
So right, because it was like, okay, I'm just gonna go to the mine again, and I don't like combat, so this is gonna be very frustrating. All right, so let's see here. So I would say, and also he's actually added, if I remember correctly, he's added very popular mods to the game and just like implemented them into the game as kind of like quality of life aspects of the game. So that's always been very helpful as well. So when you have a creator like Concerned Ape, who is listening to his community, is growing the game in accordance with what the community is asking, and is trying to keep like gameplay center, it is actually a positive experience.
Absolutely.
So, but yeah, I think what we'll want to do now here is kind of touch on, I mean, farming, animal husbandry, fishing, mining. The fishing actually has its own little mini game, which is honestly kind of like, some people are really good at it. I've always been really bad at it. But these are all very, very interesting. But what has really brought this game, and the other Stardew Valley likes or clones of them, is the relationship portion of the game, which is going to dive us into a bit of a controversial area here. So, but anyway, but yeah. So what was it? You start meeting people. You're enticed to kind of get to know people, give them gifts, and there are certain people, men and women in the game who are single, and you are basically romanceable, right? Now, what was it? My first qualm with this is what was it? There's no friendship option, right? Like in real life, well, who's the girl with like the blue hair?
Abigail, I think.
Is it Abigail or is it Emily?
You mean the one who works at the salon? Emily.
Yeah.
Saloon.
Saloon, right? Like, what was it? In game, I have like no like attraction, but she seems like a fun gal to like hang out with, right? So like in reality, I would never be like, hey, let's go on a date or let me get to know you, right? It would be more of like, I'm interested in a friendship aspect, but the game is always kind of like pushing the character towards romance. There really almost isn't an option for friendship unless you like choose the bad option during a cutscene, like a specified cutscene, or they're called heart scenes. Like once you hit a certain level of friendship with the person, you get to make a choice, right? And it almost seems like if you get to know the character that you're getting to know, the bad choice is like really bad. It's almost like a faux pas, right?
I guess I've never made the bad choice. Like, I've always had my character say the right thing. Right. So, but I guess I would give you a bit of pushback because you can get, because it judges your relationship on like a heart scale. The more you talk with them, the more you give them gifts, and you can get up to 10 hearts, and that's essentially like a friendship. The only thing is that like the only thing you're getting back from that friend, and obviously that's not how you should qualify friendships, but like sometimes like when you get so far, they'll send you a recipe or they'll send you gifts. In that sense, there's a friendship, and it doesn't push you to be romantic with all the people that you have like a 10 heart or an 8 heart level with. It's just that's the only way you can continue to advance something with them.
Yeah. But there always, at least from what I've seen, there's always like a romance like skew to it. So, for example, right, if you're a guy and you want to get to know the football player gal or football player guy, I think it's like the eighth scene or whatever. He starts talking about how he's kind of attracted to you, and he doesn't know how he feels about it. So it's always through a lens of romance, right?
Yeah. On that note, I'm actually thinking about this because all of the people. So when I originally started playing, I played with a female character, and then I got to a point where I was like, "This is overtaking my life. I need to let go of it in order to focus on my actual real life responsibility." So I deleted my file, and then when I was ready to come back to it, I created a new file, and I from what you have talked about, I was like, I just want to play as a guy and just see if there's much of a difference. But now that I'm thinking about it, as my guy character that I have on my file right now, I don't actually interact with the other guys because they are like maybe Willie. He's the fisherman.
Yeah, but he's not romanceable.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And we've talked about this before. All the romanceable guys
they suck.
They're lame. Yeah. And at the same point, all of the girls, like there's Maru, and then the other girls are it depends on your own personal take, but we're both just a certain personality that they're not hardworking. I think that's the biggest thing. They all seem like duds.
Yeah, no, most of these characters seem to be like that. I mean, it's hard, right? He's trying to play off of one stereotype, right? Maru's the, geeky scientist, Abigail's the nerdy girl, Leia's the artist, Emily is the popular pretty gal, Emily is her weird sister who's into like stones and crystals. And then Penny
you mean Haley, not
or
Leia.
Haley. Yeah, thank you. And then Penny is your teacher. I always saw Penny as just kind of your go-to because she, her side story is kind of sad, right? Yeah. She's in a bad relationship with her mom. She's like known to be the poor girl.
But because of that, she's not. Well, maybe this is judgmental, but she's not like fun. Like she's always depressing. She's always sad. Yeah. So it's not, I don't know, for me, like that's not attract. Like I don't want to be married to a person like that.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. Yeah. But like she takes care, or she's the school teacher. She cares for kids. She actually like has like a desire like to have a family, and I don't know. So I have tried romancing other people on other files, and it always ends up back to Penny. So I don't know. Yeah. Like I've never understood people's obsession with Abigail or Maru or What about the guys? Let's talk about the guys. There's the guy who's like a bum on the beach, and then he's a poet. And an artist. Okay. Yeah, with the long hair. I never picked up on that because his conversations have always been so self-centered. Yeah, and then there's the football player. He's also self-centered. There's skateboarder guard. Yeah. Blonde hair. I guess I've never. Sam. He's like really young. He's supposed to be like 18, and the other guys are supposed to be in their like late 20s. Gotcha. Harvey, who's the doctor. When I did my female file, I romanced Harvey. Yeah. But he's kind of like Penny, where he's sad. He's kind of depressed. He's kind of an older. He doesn't have a positive outlook on life. And then there's Clint. He's the blacksmith. He's just nervous. He's not romanceable though. I thought he was. Oh, okay. Never mind. He's got a thing for the blue-haired gal. Yeah. Which you're like supposed to help him out with at one point. And he like completely fumbles it. Yeah. And then you find like I was a big fan of Mayor Lewis, the mayor of the town.
until you find out that like there's this whole like side affair. I don't know if you call it affair because he's not married, and neither is the girl that he's having a relationship with. But like you find out that they're having a secret relationship, and it's just like, well, now I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's me not being charitable. But like now I'm not. Not that he's romanceable, but like I used to like try to be friends with him, and now I just kind of ignore him.
So I never had an interest in playing a girl character in this game, so I've never gotten to know the guys. I tried getting to know the girl characters somewhat, and then
and then there's the alcoholic. He's the one that used to work at JoJo Corp, or like he works at JoJo Market until you. Shane. Yeah. I've tried to befriend him just to see what he's like once you've actually befriended him. But unless you do your research like outside of the game and figure out what he actually likes, it's kind of hard. Well, it's not hard. There's nothing really negative that happens if you make people mad at you. But I'm that type of person that I don't like people like saying mean things to me, so I don't interact with him. So unless you like go out, like I found out he likes hot peppers, so like unless you do that side research into the WikiHow, you can't. He's not fun to get to know. But I haven't tried that yet. I haven't gotten to like really know him and see if his character actually changes.
So yeah, no. My understanding is he kind of does, but then when like what was it? When you get married, you get a special room inside your house, and his is filled with like dirt and beer cans on the floor. No. So it's like he like what was it? He has this intervention. And then you get married, and then it doesn't seem like anything changes. I don't know if it was just like something that's been put on the back burner on the Concerned Ape side, but I don't know. But anyway, this also kind of dives into kind of from a Catholic point of view, not an issue, but a kind of a qualm with the game, and that is its open receptivity to homosexuality. Its ability to play on certain people or on people, its openness to play on certain tendencies, either being homosexual or either like a gender dysphoria, right? Like if you wish you were like a boy and you're actually a woman or a girl, right? Or vice versa. This could end up like kind of like an escape, which is problematic. And actually, and this is not just like something that you and I have noticed and we've talked about. This is actually widely rejoiced in the Stardew Valley community. So if you go onto like the Reddit, or if you go to the community page on the Steam, it's rainbow flags and pride flags and transgender flags abound because of these kind of underlying themes and vibes of the game, which I remember when you started playing, you distinctly picked up on right away. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, like how you can't, what's the word, call? You can't call any of the animals. Is that the right word? Like you...
Oh, cull. C-U-L-L. Cull, like kill the animals, yeah.
Yeah, so like you raise pigs, but that's so that you can collect truffles that they dig up, not so that you can make your own bacon. So, and your chickens are only for eggs. So you can't, there's no butchering in the game. Yeah, I remember picking up on that.
You can sell the animals.
Yes.
Yeah, you can like raise them up to a certain point where it is profitable for you. But you've put so much time and effort into them that it doesn't exactly make sense to do so. At least I've never really thought about it.
I've never done it as like a strategy for income. But I recently did it just simply because I was downsizing. I was like, ooh, wow, that's nice. That definitely just gave me back what I lost in Ginger Island. Ginger Island, sorry. So, yeah. So that's the disadvantage of the game.
Yeah.
I don't know if disadvantage isn't the right word. The inherent evil isn't the right word either.
Underlying issue, I would say, right? Especially from a Catholic point of view, which, I mean, this can dive us in. We're actually, I don't know if you knew this, Catherine, but we're at like 46 minutes right now.
I see.
Oh, okay. So we could dive into our rating. I first wanted to kind of touch on the graphics and the sound really quickly, though. Yeah. What was it? The graphics, of course, is a pixel art that is done by Concerned Ape. I don't know about you, but it is honestly some of the most beautiful pixel art I've ever seen, and I'm not a pixel art fan. Like,
this is where my lack of video gaming comes in. I mean, I'm not bothered by it, but I don't appreciate its great quality because I have nothing to compare to.
Sure. Understandable. And actually, surprisingly enough, even the sound, all the sounds, all the music is composed by, or at least originally was composed by Concerned Ape. So, yeah, I guess there's only one other thing that we should probably bring up, and that's and I mean, this is a problem in a lot of video games, is the problem of it's kind of like main character syndrome, right? So, and this dives us into the story, right? Jojo Mart has moved in, and nobody's doing anything about it, but now it's up to you and your actions, and if you save the community center, Jojo Mart is thrashed and has to move out and leaves behind a decrepit building, and everyone rejoices at the community center because of your actions. But a community is not of one, right? A community is multiple people coming together, and you don't see that. It's kind of like you are the savior of the town, and everyone relies upon you. Mm-hmm. Everyone's attracted to you in one sense or another because you're new or you're sexy or, like, for example, like Leia, right? If you play a female character, she's a lesbian. But if you play a male character, she's straight, right?
I've never noticed that.
Yeah.
But then again, I can be very blind to certain hints, as our relationship pointed out. I know you talked about, I don't listen to the podcast, as has been previously stated, but I overhear some of the recordings. Or actually, this is actually really funny. So James, after recording these podcasts and then going through and editing them, he then likes to walk around the apartment listening to his own podcast. And I think it just makes me laugh every time. Like he's already heard it 2, if not 3 or 4 times, and then he listens to it again. So I know some of what you guys talk about. Yeah. Anyway, but where was I going? Oh, you've talked about our relationship in the past a little bit. So I don't know if you've ever mentioned just like when you started to pursue me, I was just clueless to a lot of the clues that I could have picked up on. So that could also just be my naivety that's playing into the game. Like just how like I'm not picking up on some of the stuff you're picking up on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can definitely see that. And then also, what was it? Because this game is made by a guy, right? I can see how, like, at least for the guy romanceable characters, how a lot of them are kind of like just trash. Partly because he's very distinctly playing off of tropes, right? For on both sides, and the girls are more interesting, probably because maybe he just finds gals more interesting, and so playing off of the guy tropes, he's not counterbalancing them well. Yeah, right, because the girls are counterbalanced well, right? Mm-hmm. So going back, right? So Haley, right? She's pretty and preppy, and she's got blonde hair, and she's always the cheerleader trope, but she's also like very interested in this other life, right? That she is not accustomed to, and she's into photography and is very much into that, and is like, once you actually get to know her, she actually has this depth that you don't see with the other characters besides, I believe, with Sean, right, who you were pointing at, right, where he's the town alcoholic who has a low-end job. He's just kind of getting by. There's actually a hint that, what was it, the little girl might be like his daughter, and the people, and the people that he is staying with, that's his mom. So he's kind of,
his aunt.
or his aunt or whatever.
Yeah.
But or so they're all kind of like, like she's kind of like taking them in or something like that. So there is a little bit of depth, but I mean, it seems like they're harder. Maybe just in general guys suck, and that's what we're trying to figure out here. But yeah, no. So there's this real big problem with main character syndrome. Honestly, I can't think of a way of fixing it, because the game is so centered on you entering into this world, and just enjoying the different aspects of it, like the farming and the mining and the creating your own farm. Like, that's just a lot of fun.
Then again, neither of us have played the multiplayer portion of it, and maybe in that version you don't get as much of that syndrome because you are playing with multiple people and you're kind of working together to build the community. So maybe that's just our lack of playing the version, the multiplayer version.
That's a good point. Okay, well, we are at about 52 minutes on our recording session here, so we're going to dive into our ratings. As always, we rate a moral rating and then a subjective rating. Moral ratings, it has been borrowed / stolen / ripped from the now defunct way that the USCCB used to rate movies. We rate movies from A1 to O. A1 standing basically, everyone should be able to play this. It's a great game. There's really no issues, like morally. A2 is teenager and adults. So there might be like a little bit of violence or a little bit of an aspect that is inappropriate for kids, but usually teenagers and adults are able to process that. A3 is for adults only. This is your classic rated M games. This is your rated R kind of movies that aren't so gratuitous, but they're the aspect or the story or the gameplay is good enough where we recommend that most people who play video games who are adults go out and play this game. L is for a limited audience. That basically is, this game is really good. People should play it, but, keep in mind that there are certain areas of moral problems that need to be just at least kept in the forefront of our minds. And then, of course, O is morally offensive. No one should really play this game from a moral standpoint. I do what was it? South Park: The Stick of Truth, right? Like, that was a game that you will never play. That is from a person who actually used to watch a lot of South Park. Very enjoyable from that sense, but is incredibly offensive, incredibly in your face, very disgusting. But it's worth at least placing a review out there. So, from what I've gathered, I would say if the certain sexual outlying issues of this game, being the not outright like endorsement of homosexuality or the endorsement of like the transgender movement, kind of like living your own fantasy. If those things weren't there, right? I would say this is an A1.
Absolutely. I absolutely agree. Yeah, A1. On if those portions weren't there. But since they are.
What?
Yeah.
So here's the thing, Catherine. Okay. You can disagree with me here.
I know, but I don't.
Oh. Oh, I have it in recording. Yeah.
It's not like we've argued about this.
That's true. So I would say that this game is an L, due to the ability to romance somebody of the same sex, the opportunity to kind of play into a fantasy of gender dysphoria, right? If you're somebody who is struggling with that, maybe this game isn't for you. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, if this is an opportunity to engage into sin, then, go play something else. If this is not, I would say go right ahead, right? It is a fun game. It's a good, it's just a good, fun time.
And even if you struggle with those tendencies, it can be a gauge of, how you're doing with that struggle. Like if playing the game is a temptation for you to build up in yourself, this idea of a culture of transgenderism or of homosexuality, then don't play it. But if you can play it and you can just play as a single person and not pursue that, and that can just be a good, gauge for yourself of like how you're doing in your own struggle with sin, as we all have to do. Like I had to stop playing the game at one point simply because I was playing too much of it and not cultivating a relationship with our son and making sure that he's learning and making sure I'm doing my chores and stuff, like I had to stop. So it can just be a good gauge of how you're doing in your own virtual life of virtue.
There you go. Alrighty. And now for our subjective rating. Catherine, subjectively, how would you rate this game?
Oh, you didn't prep me for this. Is this like a 1 out of 5, out of 10, out of 100?
So that's the beauty of our subjective rating. We can rate it however we want, on whatever scale we want, and it doesn't matter. Oof. So Connor will... bringing back those old North Dakota roots. Connor will change up how he rates things every now and then. I change it up too, to the point where I just it's great, or to other ways of just rating it on a scale. So
I guess I would go with a 4 out of 5 then. I really do enjoy the game. Like right now I just want to almost be done recording so I can go play the game now. It's kind of like when you hear like a little snippet of a song on a radio and then they don't play the whole thing.
So you have to go back and find it and play it. Yeah.
It's kind of like that right now. But I enjoy the game. It really hits all the aspects that I like: the game building, the time management, the strategy. The part of it that that I don't like is just some of the technical details. And I was watching a review of this on YouTube where it's like you walk into the shed and it's not symmetrical, or when you're trying to you can move buildings around, like you can just go to the carpenter and just have your barn moved, which is completely unrealistic but nice. But there's this random area right by the main entrance of the farm that you can't put the house there, you can't put any other building there, but you can lay down stones and put furnaces outside. But so that it's little things like that, or around the farm where it's there's a bush and you can't take down the bush but it's in the way. It's just little annoyances like that.
Let's see here. I really enjoy this game, to the point where I've seen other games like it come out, and I've been very interested by it. Coral Island was one that really struck my fancy, but I have not purchased it, nor do I plan on reviewing it. I'll let you figure that one out, listener. Why? Once you dive into if I have a problem with the kind of relationships that are going on in this game, the kind of relationships going on in Coral Island, you can probably put 2 and 2 together. There's actually a new game that just came out called, what is it? It looks really, really cool. It's like a medieval Stardew Valley where you can actually you have a sword and stuff like that. Mirthwood. This looks really, really fascinating. Whoops. But yeah, it's kind of a Stardew Valley-like kind of thing. And I'm very interested by it. So I really do enjoy these kinds of games. I've always enjoyed RPGs, and this has been a lot of fun, and I look forward to seeing what Concerned Ape continues to do with Stardew Valley, and I'm really looking forward to his hopefully his upcoming game that he had kind of hinted at. I think, was it starting in 21, 22? It's like the Haunted Chocolatier is what it's called.
I've not heard of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So, all right. Well, Catherine, do you have anything else you'd like to say?
I had something and then I lost it. I forgot it. Whoopsies. Yikes.
There we go.
Yeah, forgot it. Oh well.
Okay.
What are you gonna do now that we're done with the podcast?
Well, actually, the guys and I are going to be recording other podcasts tonight, so I'm going to be probably prepping for that, and while you play Stardew Valley.
Wait, sorry. Say that again.
I said I'm probably going to do that while you play Stardew Valley.
Oh, you'll do the prep work. Yeah. Wow. Okay, I was gonna say, oh bummer, I don't get to play.
We really need to get you a laptop.
That would be helpful, but also a bit of a temptation. But that's okay. Growing in virtue. It's all good.
Absolutely. Okay. Alrighty, everyone. That was my wife, Catherine.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. Okay. I remember now. Let us know if you liked me being a guest on the show and if you want me back. Not that there's many other games I can review, but I don't know. Let us know what you thought.
Yeah. I mean, we can always just kind of do like discussion of like what's going on in our lives and stuff like that. And we could just turn it into a whole different podcast. Yeah. Not that would be interesting at all, but
I know you guys have talked about like just how to moderate game playing, because that's usually your big issue that gamers play is like how do you time manage your real time, you know, and not playing too much. And you should just like I have lots of thoughts on that actually. So yeah, things like that.
Wonderful. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Once again, if you liked this episode, please leave a review, follow the podcast. You can always email us at catholicgamerspod@gmail.com. With all of that being said, this was James. That was Catherine.
Bye-bye.
As our son would say, bye-bye. Or is it Bernadette? That's more Bernadette, yeah. Thank you for listening, and God bless.